Now we begin with the growing political backlash to the $355 million ruling against Donald Trump in his New York fraud case. The judge's unprecedented ruling will balloon to $460 million with interest. That makes the damages against Trump greater than the gross national product of some countries. Critics note the massive sum in damages is without a single lost dollar from a victim. Tad excessive, maybe? Jonathan Turley thinks so, writing, quote, "In laying the foundation for his sweeping decision against former President Donald Trump, the judge observed that this is a venial sin, not a mortal sin. Yet at $355 million, one would think that the judge had found Trump to be the source, indeed, of original sin." And of course, Trump is on that same page.
There were no victims, no defaults, no damages, no complaints, no nothing. There was nothing. This is merely an election interference ploy by a crazed lunatic attorney general. Did you ever see this attorney general? She's a lunatic working closely with a very bad judge.
Tommy, what do you think about all this? And what do you think is going to happen with voters because of this?
Well, I think that the Trump base is going to galvanize because every time Trump takes a hit, his base gets stronger and more enthusiastic and more passionate. I have long worried about independent voters, not because I believe that Trump has done anything wrong in the 4 indictments or in this, but because I worry that some people are going to get fatigue of the circus and the drama. So as much as he wants to talk about everything coming against him, which he has every right to talk about, I hope that he can maintain talking about the issues, because the American people need to see right now how their lives are suffering due to the current president, and they need someone that's going to give them a solution to that. It's one thing to say that we're screwed. It's another thing to just say, I'm screwed, and that's what he has been saying. So he's got to touch on both. He's having to walk a very, fine line with that. But I will also say that Donald Trump's still out there with all of this campaigning. He's got more passion than ever, more enthusiasm than ever. Our current president takes a vacation every weekend, can barely muster up the strength to go to East Palestine, Ohio, a year later. And you've got our current president, went there a year ago, on the trail, more vigor than ever. So that's the contrast that American voters have to decide what they want in November.
That's right. And Lisa, the other day, it was Friday night, I shared an elevator with another woman here in New York City, and we'd just gotten a notification that a protest was coming around the corner. And she was like, "Hey, do you know what this protest is?" And I said, I don't know. There was just a large judgment levied against former President Trump. She goes, "Oh, no, that would be a celebration." And I said, what's the celebration for? I'm curious. We know now that a lot of our business reporters like Charlie Gasparino have heard from Trump sources and other business sources here in New York City that there will be a significant chill factor on other businesses that are headquartered here. Kevin O'Leary as well sounding the alarm about the chill factor to business. What is there to celebrate about an unprecedented judgment that has a very real negative impact on the economy of this city and this state?
Well, I think that these people clearly hate Trump more than they love America. And by the time they finally get him, if they ever do, what's going to be left of the country? I mean, think about all the damage these threat to democracy people have done as they burn the country down to try to get him. No one trusts elections anymore after they appended the system during a virus almost as deadly as the flu, as they appended the process that with mail-in balloting or trying to take Trump off the ballot. No one trusts the rule of law anymore. It doesn't exist as they've used it, weaponized it against Donald Trump. The media has debased itself lying about Donald Trump. So people don't trust the system anymore because they've broken it to try to get Donald Trump. And the irony is that New York is probably going to end up bankrupting itself in the process of trying to bankrupt Trump. I mean, the top 1% ends up paying, or the top 1% taxpayers pay for 42% of the state's tax receipts. They've already lost 10 billionaires in a span of 4 years from New York to Florida. So don't you think this is going to drive more people away? Who's crazy enough to do business in the state of New York? And clearly Governor Hochul has concerns about that. I mean, in a recent radio interview, she tried to dispel those concerns, more or less just saying this is specific to Trump. But people are smarter than that. And it's going to drive more billionaires. It's going to drive more rich people away. And it's just going to drive more decent Americans away.
Well, that's why the New York Post call it Pyrrhic, right? Which is essentially a victory, but at what cost? A victory that isn't worth the victory. Joe, to Lisa's point, she says it's going to drive businesses away. no pun intended, that there are truckers for Trump that are now refusing to drive into this state. I'm just one of the many millions of truckers, wrote one, who believe in God and love this country. I stand with Trump because Trump stands with me. Truckers for Trump ain't just a slogan, it's real. And I noted one of the comments to his post as he was saying, as a commercial truck driver, I will no longer be driving into this state while this is happening. And the user, the comment said, thank you for being a true patriot. If all of us patriots stand up, we will make a difference. We have to push back against the ones trying to purposely destroy our country. And I can't help but underline that is how everyone is perceiving this abomination of a ruling that had no victims.
This is called the boomerang effect that we're seeing now, like with these truckers, for example. You brought up how this could bankrupt the city.
Yeah.
The city currently has a $4.3 billion budget shortfall. And to Lisa's point, which was perfectly made, more businesses, especially real estate companies who are already paying really high taxes here in New York, they're out of here. They're going to Tennessee, where you went to school, where you currently live now. They're going to Florida. They're going to Texas. And they're going to not come back. And know what goes with them? All of that tax revenue. So, yes, this will bankrupt the state. So you want to celebrate if you're a liberal and say, yay, we got Donald Trump? It's only a short-term victory. This will only galvanize his base, to your point, and independents, I believe, as well, who see this as the weaponization of the justice system. And in the end, this could be the type of thing that destroys New York instead of saves it.
And Kaylee, we keep saying unprecedented. Walk us through exactly how this is.
Yeah, as a prosecutor, if you're Letitia James, if you're Alvin Bragg, you sit down and if you have a fact pattern before you, you say, do the facts match the law? But secondly, as a prosecutor, you have prosecutorial discretion. Part of the reason you have that is because you look at precedent and say, has a case like this ever been prosecuted before? And then you can make the determination whether it's equitable and just to move forward. Well, let's review the precedent in all of these Trump legal cases. So the civil fraud case, our brain room looked into it. They said, to quote them, I'm not finding any examples of arrest conviction for allegedly inflating the value of real estate without a victim. Associated Press looks into it. They look at 70 such precedent, 70 such cases. Here's what they found. A penalty has only been imposed a dozen previous times. Trump's case stands apart. It's the only big business that was threatened with a shutdown without an obvious victim. So unprecedented case with civil fraud. Now let's move over to Alvin Bragg. He's about to come in March, right? He's got the hush money case. Well, New York Times, no friend of Donald Trump. What did the New York Times find? New York Times looked into it. New York state prosecutors have never before filed an election law case involving a federal campaign. But you do with Donald Trump. And that's before we get to ballot removal with Colorado. 2 such cases in history, and they were Confederates. 2 such cases. And that's before we get to Maine, where one unelected Secretary of State said, Trump, you're off the ballot. It's no wonder the American people look, different cases, different fact patterns, one commonality, targeting one man. This is not the way the justice system's supposed to work.
That's absolutely right. And, I was struck the other day by Martha McCallum, who pointed out the contrast, as you underline how there's absolutely no precedent for this in a civil ruling over fraud with no victims. She pointed out, the O.J. Simpson civil case, that 2 lives were apparently worth $30 million, right? East Palestine, Ohio, that was worth destroying a city and everything that comes with it. Less than this? I think it's obvious.
Great point.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.